Recording in progress.
Hey, good morning. Good evening.
Good morning.
Are you guys able to hear me? Hi.
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Good. Good
Yes,
morning,
Sunny.
team.
Yes, can hear.
Thank you for joining. We are able to at least get to the Zoom, and Nirav send me a note. He's not able to join. Um, he will try it again. So are you able to join without any issues, all of you? Hi, Nirav. You are able to join now?
Hey, sorry, I had trouble joining.
Okay.
I wasn't sure that this meeting will be at 9 exact, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm driving back from dropping my kid to school.
Okay. I see you are in the car. Yeah, I can. Yeah. That's fine.
Should be there in like 5 minutes. Okay.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for joining. We will move to this new format of using Zoom going forward, and also we will schedule through the OCP site so that we can send the streams and people can listen. And I think I see some new faces here. I think maybe we can do a quick intro and we can move from there. So let me. I'm just still. I don't know. My computer also slow. Give me a minute. So I'm Sami Nachimuthu. I'm leading this CSM work group. I'm basically from Intel, representing this work group for CSM here. Maybe we can just quickly go through people here. Let me call out Alice. Want a quick intro on you from your side?
Hi. So this is Judy. We are from Delta Electronic, and I have it here as me, Judy, and I also have Ethan, Alice, and also Cindy with me. We are the marketing team from Delta Electronic, and we just wanted to get to know a little more about today's meeting and also the upcoming OCT related hardware.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Let's also go to George. You want to give a brief intro? Yeah.
Hi, I'm George. I'm from Google. So I'm the Uber tail of all of machine management inside Google.
Thank you. And Panos, you want to give a...
Yeah, I'm Panos. I'm from Meta, and I'm in the fleet management team of this company. I have been in the FTI, FTS group, the CSM, for 2 years now.
Thank you. John?
John Leung from Intel. On the OCP incubation committee as representative to the hardware management project. I also attended DMTF, which wrote the Redfish standard.
Okay, thank you. Changachi? Changachi, you are in mute.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Chang Choi. I'm from Samsung. I'm a Samsung representative for CSM Group. I have been working with this team almost 2 years.
Thank you. Nirav?
Hi, my name is Nirav, software architect at Intel. Been part of this group for 1 year now.
Okay, thank you. Scott?
Hey, yeah, I'm Scott Ramsey from Dell Technologies in Austin, and I'm actually joined this group as part of the merger between the Hardware Fault Management OCP group and Cloud Service Model OCP group.
Okay, thank you. Julie, you already covered Alice and Isan and Cindy, right?
Yes, we have Ethan, me, Alice, and Cindy with me.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else I missed? I see on Google. Okay, George, Google. Okay, great. So basically, like,
I'm sorry, Judy, which company did you say? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
We are from Delta Electronic. We specialize in power supply and other industrial automation for related product offering. We're more for the hardware manufacturing for different business industry and business groups.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. So so basically, like, just to give a background for the new team. So we are meeting actually weekly. We are meeting from last 2 years or more than that now, discussing about cloud related, the fleet management related items that what we want to bring it to the table in the OCP. And just kind of this week, we just actually moved to the OCP based scheduling model. Previously, we were scheduled out of our calendars. So it's good to see that we are able to get new people here to join. So today's agenda is going to be 2 parts. I think one, we really want to look into the white papers what Nirav is developing for DC lifecycle management. And there's two. The reason for that is one, we want to get this year's presentations ready. Second thing, we also want to get the white paper ready. Actually, we have 3 items in our agenda, right? And I want to give an update on a FTI Sync meeting. It happened this week. The third thing we want to cover is since we are planning to move to the hardware fault management after the global summit, we also want to make sure that the descriptions and other things we can be kind of approved by this group before going to the hardware fault management team. Any other opens we have today? Another, so let me, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
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 Somehow I'm not seeing my window here. Hold on. Maybe it's minimized. So that's fine. Let me give an update on the OCP FTA chair sync. So they want we basically presented, we are going to have 2 sessions, technical sessions, one panel, and we had some conflict with the OSF with our presentation. So we were able to change the OSF schedule to match our schedule timing without any conflicts. They're okay with the 3 sessions instead of 4 we originally planned. Mainly what the FTA team want to see is we want to get the transition to the hardware fault management done. And they want to announce that in the morning meeting. Meeting instead of keynotes. It's going to be panel forum where they want to present each FTA teams to see what we have accomplished and what is the transitioning and how are we going to carry forward. That is number 1. Number 2 is we have 2 technical sessions and 1 panel that is in the afternoon from 2:30. The second thing they also want to us to complete is the presentations. They want to get it done by September 15th. You know, we have started the draft, but they want to see the final version by September 15th. And they will take another couple of more weeks to review and give any feedback. And the final presentation, they want to get it done by September 28th. Just any questions on the FTA sync? If not, let us move to the presentation what Nirav is developing.
Do you mind starting with your one, Sammy? I'm almost there. Or
Okay.
if you don't mind sharing, it's on the presentation is on the share. If you don't mind sharing.
If you're going to be back to your this one soon, I will wait.
Yeah.
I just want to get my things back. I'm not able to figure out how do I resize to maximum. Let me, maybe I will disconnect and join back. Hold on. Oh, now, okay. Able to figure out. So let me, yeah, that's fine. Let me share the write-up I have done for the transitioning and let us review that. And I should have posted it. I have not posted it, I think. Let me do that. Sorry for the delay. I'm difficulty in sharing the screen here. It's cannot even see the window here. Give me a second. Let me close and bring it back.
Sammy, do you want me to attempt to do that sharing from here? If you just can post me the link of the document.
Yeah, the difficulty I'm having is my screen on the I'm not able to look in my Explorer.
Oh,
To get that link copied there. Let me see whether I have an email sent yesterday to the Alan.
I meant if you want me to continue with my topic and then come back to yours, that's okay too. I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, sure. Let's then move to there. Let me copy that thing. Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know, guys, when you see it. Oh wait, where is that? Where is that presentation? Okay, so here. Okay, got it. Share. Let me know when you guys see it.
We can see it. Okay.
Perfect. All right. So, quick background. This is an attempt at. This is the presentation for the OCP conference in October, last week of October. One of the topics that we are presenting from the CSM perspective is the life cycle management of a hyperscale cloud. What are the stages? What are the factors involved? What are the current standards that are there? What are the opportunities for creating new standard? The background here is over the last few years, there's been a explosion of large-scale cloud developed deployments. We expect huge clouds to come, huge data centers to come up in the next few years if they haven't already. And to prepare for that, we need to identify what challenges we might face as an ecosystem, and two, to look like 2 or 4 years down the road and figure out what best practices we can kind of instill now that can help the ecosystem. So that's the background. The first slide, and I need an introduction slide, so I haven't done that, but I will add that pretty soon. And if somebody wants to help me, I would really appreciate it. But this slide is mostly talking about kind of the waterfall of the stages. So the first, the left-hand side, we talk about like what are the stages of hyperscale cloud deployment. First is logistics. You need to figure out the real estate, the utilities, electricity, water, and all that, the network setup, and then system acquisitions. The next stage is the onboarding. So once we have a place for it, and once we have systems for it, we need to start configuring them, start conforming and certifying these systems. So there is, in most cases, there are government regulations that we need to meet at the same time. And stop me, guys, anytime you have a question. But most states, we have certifications that are needed from government conformance, industry conformance. There is certifications needed for deployment. So all of that needs to be done. And then the third stage for onboarding is orchestration and ramp. Orchestration and ramp requires a thought out process where we can't just build a million systems together and just start on day one. It has to be ramped. It has to be scaled. With all the utilities and all that factored in. So that's the second stage. Once everything is up and running, we are in this maintenance mode where we monitor utilizations for load balancing. We do fault detection and repair for maintenance. We do servicing for software and hardware, and then inventory management for things that might go up. And then the last stage is when some of the systems are not working, we have to end of life them. So there are 3 stages with that. There's the backup stage, backup and reset stage, where we kind of back up all the information or the data that's on the system. We decommission the system. We just in an ordered fashion, we take the system out of the data center and then recycle it. So to me, that's kind of the evolution and the flow of a data center. Any questions so far?
Yeah, this is George. I have a couple of like takes on that. So,
Okay.
for example, there is like a maybe. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things that are like missing, right? Like for example, a key part that we care about, like any new system that has like a MTBF, right? There are certain things that it has to meet, and it's not like there's 2 parts. It's basically it doesn't go into maintenance till then, right? Like whether or not we ramp up like a particular server, it depends on us, like it meeting our like standards.
Some
right?
conformance to a particular, yeah. So I think,
Right?
I tried to cover that in one line from conformance perspective,
Okay.
but let me know if that is something you want me to
It's
expand
not
on.
exactly like conformance, and other part is that typically the certification is also not really like done on like servers per se. The entire data center, like there are different certifications, right?
Right.
And different things, but it's done for the whole. And there are certain soft, like the service you build also will have to be certified that certain components, for example, like FIPS compliance, right? Like, but it's not just on a. So it's not exactly on a. What do you call it? Like each server, like conformance, like after it, like onboards. A lot of it happens much before, right? Before we acquire, before we design it, we basically design with that in mind.
You mean, so the vendor needs to conform and we need to check
That's basically
the conformance.
Most of that actually happens before we even like it lands into the data center.
I see. So yeah, that's the okay. So I need to readjust this, is what you're saying, right? Maybe put this in the logistics part.
Yeah. Maybe Panos has answer, but I think like there is like a different like things that we do. Like time is money, as we like, we want everything to go fast, so we can't like wait and like do it, right? We're burning like huge amount of money if you basically like bring it to a data center. It all like is shifted left, and that's what happens. Like
so I think what you're saying is, and I need to kind of.
That's right. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Like all of that has to happen. Like at least for our use, that's what we do. We don't wait for it. Like,
is that okay with everyone? If that's okay, I can just that's what I would do. It's just
I think this is a game of words, whether we call it conformance during provisioning or conformance during the design of a system.
Correct.
As on the system, not on the specific asset. But I would, yeah, I might pick a different word to say, validation, provisioning, or even attestation. There is an attestation phase sometimes we do, for the security provisioning of a system. But in affair to interfere with your next slides, I would be challenging how much of that is proprietary to each hyperscaler and what can be standardized or what can be integrated in tools that could be shared across the industry.
Yeah, I think when we get to the next slide, that's a great point.
Okay,
that
yeah.
I actually, that's where I need feedback, is that line between standardization and kind of innovation, because
There's
they
no
don't
one line.
exactly.
I'll answer, upfront that we would never agree on a specific line and get that as a standard. But the whole challenge here is to come to an integration point where proprietary and standardized components can work together, and we
Correct.
could switch back and forth, or even extend some of the available offerings into some more proprietary or customized solutions.
Fair enough. I think that's a fair comment. Yes, I have struggled with that, and I need feedback on that. So when we get to the next slide, let's go in depth on that and talk about it. But on this slide, so I think, George, you said two things. What was the other thing?
There is a second part is like MTBF calculation, basically like how well the particular like a thing performs, and that is decided before we ramp up.
So
Like mean time between failures and whether it's like expected like performance and like expected like whether it's able to meet metrics.
Oh, metrics. Okay, I need to put that.
So there is like expected like failure rate, and then there's expected like basically like performance,
like
and
a
so all
data
of that
sheet
has
kind
to
of
be
thing.
not a data sheet. It's actual measurement. That's what we do like live. So we get all the specs and everything looks good on paper before.
So
and even we do like yearly measurements like when vendor. Actually, after we onboard, we basically like test everything again, right?
Oh,
so
you
before
test
the full
everything
ramp
again.
up.
Correct.
You mean like a
We actually
smoke
like put the
test?
real load.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
a smoke test, right?
Yeah,
No. Actually, like we do the actual like full workload. Like smoke tests are all done much earlier. We run the actual workload, and first 3 months you basically like a certain number of days, right? You basically see if it's satisfying.
Burn-in test, right?
Yeah.
Basically, I'll just put it under validation bucket. Is that broad enough?
Yeah, it's also part of like orchestration ramp up. Basically, like imagine that Intel says that the new server is like 20% faster. We find it only 10% faster. We don't ramp up, right?
Yeah.
That's like an example, right? Like same way, or if a server is just 20% faster, but it fails like 20% more. There are more memory failures. Still, it's not good enough. So we have like a rich set of things that we actually run our full workload on, and we basically like validate it and see like where it falls under.
I think initially I had considered it part of our orchestration, but I see your point. It's different. It's part of validation, and that's fair.
Yep.
And I can put that as a separate bucket here.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that feedback. Any feedback on the remaining two buckets or the stages? Sorry. All right. So coming to the standard.
So quick one. Maintenance basically, or meaning this is really like running the data center, right?
Correct. This is the day-to-day activities.
Right.
Yeah. Is there a better word you can think of? I've been struggling with these words, and that's one of the things that I've been like spending a lot of time on. Like, I want to nail it down to the right words that kind of is generic
we
enough.
call it sustaining instead of maintenance. We call it sustaining, but I don't know even if that makes any sense. Like,
so to me, sustainability means like the ecological sustainability.
No, not sustainability. We call it sustaining the like sustaining.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it that's what we use internally, but I don't know if that actually is.
We could also call it production phase, right? This is the production phase where the servers are really running the production payload with anything that this may involve, like scheduled, unscheduled maintenance, faults, whatever.
Yeah,
perfect. I love it. Production. decided. All right. So coming to the standard side of this thing, right? And this is where what I did is like what Sandy suggested. I went through the OCP page and kind of figured out what maps to where. So from a logistics perspective, we have the sustainability kind of work group. We have the data center work group, which consists of the modular data center, which helps you with sourcing. And there is a ready facility recognition program that helps you with a consistent kind of setup. And then there is network and security setup. So those are the kind of those are the kind of the standards that help you with kind of logistics. And I think since we moved conformance here, I need to add that here, kind of move this yellow one here, and let's call that as a gap, because I at least for me, I could not find a standard that helps you with conformance, in the sense that, you know, these are the list of it identifies a list of conformance that you have to meet, and kind of list down that, and kind of helps you walk through the process of going through that. Maybe that's not what standards creating a standard for, and that's possible. But yeah, just as a gap, I want to call it out.
Nirav, sorry to intervene. I think by the looks of it that we should run through all the slides first and then come back with details on each one, because it may be that some ideas fit after discussing or after presenting the next slide and so on.
Okay, let's do that then. I'll quickly go ahead.
One more thing, sorry, right? This probably you may not be able to map one-to-one here. The reason is, for example, hardware fault management, hardware management, right? You want to get the systems ready. So it's not only in the production you're going to use hardware management. You want to get the systems produced, tested, and you want to make sure that all the interfaces, everything is ready, right? Even before you buy the system, or you can say, like, before you get the system to the hypercloud, there is other work going on outside that hypercloud to get this ready, right?
I see your confusion. I don't think. Yeah, Panos is right. We should look at the other slides and come back. I think. If you don't mind, Sammy, holding that question, sure. I think it'll be clear what I mean by conformance and certification standard. I think it'll be clearer with the next slides. Panos is right. We should come back to it. But yeah, you are right that some of, like, for example, hardware management does not just focus on production. It does focus on, to an extent, onboarding and logistics even too. So I think it's hard to bucket it like that. But I think I kind of try to bucket it from its primary goal, and not say that it doesn't do any of these things. But I should call this out as the primary target for hardware management is like fault detection, repair,
or you can say upfront, Nirav, that we are not mapping onto one here, right? Okay. It's probably like hardware fault management comes from starting to production to like even end up, right? Whatever the things need to be cleaned up and everything, right? So probably preamble on a lot of things may be helpful to just make sure that people are not
just using the slides to identify gaps in standards and opportunities. Sorry, I should call it opportunities. Identify opportunities in the standards. I will use that as a kind of a sticky somewhere, and yeah, that's fair. So again, so let me ramp through this quickly, and then I'll get to the next slide. And I think that's of more interest anyways. So I just want to call out the orchestration gap in terms of standardization. Again, like I'm saying, the gap doesn't mean a problem. Gap means it's an opportunity to investigate and find out whether we need that or not. And if that's already been done, that's great. Software management.
So maybe to put it right, do we want to standardize it, right? I think that's what we question, right? It's probably is being used and in different areas. Is there any opportunities for standardization, or we can okay with leaving it out, right?
Correct. I put a question mark in terms of opportunities, and just to say that I'm not suggesting we need to do this. I'm just calling it out as something to investigate.
So maybe instead of putting that in the same slide, you can see whether we can. I mean, first you want to get this standards exist and how it is connected. Maybe somewhere later or things to say like here is gaps that you want to address it, right? I'm just throwing some ideas to think about it.
Absolutely. Maybe look at splitting the slide. Yeah, that makes sense. And address opportunities is in the next slide. Okay. So now I think the more important thing that we've been waiting for. I think I've not ordered these slides correctly, but let's talk through the vision, right? The data flow, right? And this doesn't have to be a standard data flow, right? This is kind of my naive view of like where the data, I guess where, and again, I don't mean this cannot be standardized, Panos. What I mean is that the flow of data is you collect data at the system level, there is some aggregation logic, and then we need, I think what is missing today is kind of an hyperscale data representation. So what do I mean by that, right? So let's take an example, right? And this is just, and I want to, instead of proposed, I need to change this to say it's an example data tree, right? So a device, and this is a system, right? We need to have a way of identifying it. So there needs to be an identifier, which is a unique ID, and that has like some unique representation of what the software firmware versions are, what the hardware versions are. This helps you identify the device. This will help you with debugging. This will help you with onboarding and kind of part replacement and all that. And then there needs to be a unique representation of, I think this is where the fault management work group can help us. And so some of these things we can work with the existing standards bodies to kind of to see if they already exist or help and kind of come together and kind of find out a representation for it. So I think one thing we need is what is a fault or bug, right? We need to define that in terms of a data. In terms of what it means. So I'm just going through an example kind of representation here. You'll have a type, then there'll be an identifier, then there might be a telemetry signature, which means like a set of steps that typically result in this fault. There could be an impacted version. There could be and if this bug has already been fixed or this fault has already been fixed, there could be a fixed version, which could be a firmware update or a hardware update, and then the current status, right? And this also needs to come together.
So, sorry to come back to that.
Yeah,
please just remove the word redfish. Let's call it proposed logical device system data tree and put an asterisk that it's inspired by the DMTF technologies, because I think we are still far off from doing a formal submission to DMTF.
Oh, we are very far. Yes.
Yes.
Fair enough. And redfish may not even accept it. That's fair.
Yep.
Right.
No, I'm not showing whether it will be accepted or not. It just is inspired by existing redfish technologies, but we're just like making a proposition out in the wild of what we want as logical objects in our hyperscale model.
Correct. And so that's one thing. And from a certification and compliance perspective, I didn't mean that we need to define them for each and every device. That's going to be a Herculean task. And we can't, there are so many types of devices out there, so many things out there that I don't think one small work group can do that. I think that is the job for each individual. Like if it's a storage device, then the storage work group can handle. If it's a security, then the security work group can handle the defining of the certification and the compliance of it, the definition of what it means to be certified and compliant. What I mean here is some representation of it, some status representation, some telemetry information about it. In the sense where I think you can look at it, at a system level and at a data center level and say how many of my systems are compliant to what. You know,
I think Nirav, I think what we want to stay here, right? What is happening today, right? And if there are gaps we want to highlight, we want to highlight it, right? Meaning standardization needed, or even we are able to operate without any standards or things. It's all proprietary. Let's call it what is the current status, how it is utilized, right?
Is it all proprietary? that's where I need some help. Maybe Panos and George, you guys can help me. Like, how has it been done today? Like, do we have this data today, or how is it done?
So we do have the data. Like we're collecting. Like there's so many proprietary systems that are doing that, and that's always a challenge for each owner, each hyperscaler to integrate systems together.
So this will be something that will be useful. It's not done in a standard way today. Okay. And
Yeah,
it will be
I
useful
was.
to standardize. Okay.
Nirav, I was gonna say even you could paint a picture of not even what people do today, which is like say semi-structured. I mean, I think in the past, right, you had a system and you would continually like at a simple level pull logs from it and then parse the logs, which is really messy if you think about it. Sort of drives the point home to turn up the contrast a bit. So even people, the hardware people like me, were like that doesn't make any sense. So the and what people put into logs is a bit not even structured, right? It's
it may not
random.
be standard from one device to another.
Yep.
So now you have logic for one device and another device. Yes. Okay,
yeah, and it's a mess. So
Scott, I would dare to add, like, even if you parse it, into what kind of structured data are you parsing it? Like,
right, yeah, yeah.
You come up with some structured data that may not fit the next usage or so. So, like, having an open conversation about that is always helpful.
No, you're right. No, it's like that's where when I looked at this slide and I was like, this is a great like pushing towards the end game. But yeah, how do you get someone to jump on board? And it's like, well, let me show the swamp. Let's talk about the worst case.
Panos, Scott, I don't know if you guys, is there a way to represent how bad the situation is right now? Or maybe it's not bad, but as bad. But like you were saying, is there a way to put that in the slide that you can help me with?
Yeah, I could think of I could work offline and think of one.
Absolutely.
I mean, and then I mean, obviously, it'd be representative of maybe the worst case scenario, and then.
Yeah, I think you guys pick a canonical use case, which will show how bad it is, and use all this to fix the canonical use case, and then layer that with additional use cases as you list them.
I kind of have a like a different take. I'm not sure like what is bad. Today we collect all of these things. It's all like structured data that we are storing it in a time series database. We have petabytes of it. Only that different, some vendors don't give it, they make it proprietary. So we have to get a log page or like a binary blob and transform it with the proprietary code.
Right. I think how do you I think the question here is how do you give a unified data center view if you are multi-sourcing, for example? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think just we want to stay a little high level. We once identify these areas need some work need to be done. Then we can zoom in, right? Otherwise, we will be going in depth into specific problems.
I see what you're saying.
I think you will not have a time. First of all, maybe in the white paper you can expand on it, right? So you may not be on the presentation. You want to kind of go in all those details, right? I think about with the people who's walking away after the 25 or 30 minutes. What is there want to take away from the presentation, right?
Let me make that. That's a great comment. Let me add that in there, saying, "Hey, how do I up level this further?"
No, this is okay. I mean, these are the things happening. But if we say it's already standard, it's out of this things they are putting all these bubbles, right?
Right.
It's a standard or proprietary. If you can put a bubble on top of that and say like, hey, it's already available. We don't need any work in order to make it work, right? If there are areas you're identifying, this we may need to look at it, right? Then people understand. Right.
So I think what you're saying is call out the areas of improvement, kind of highlight them.
Right, out of that, right? Or if you have something already available, you can map it to that, right? And say like it's already a device type identifier. Right.
That's what I needed to have like a kind of a brainstorm today on, and maybe I can take it offline with George, Panos, and Scott.
Start writing that white paper, right? This is to up level white paper. Think of that way, right?
Correct.
start expanding on it, and
so maybe the details need to go
right,
in the
right.
maybe the details need to go into the white paper. Okay. In the white paper. Okay. So here I can just say, hey, come. So maybe I don't report. Maybe I don't call out these individual data blobs. I just call out the utilization resource and then opportunities where they are. Okay, I will do
No, you
that.
can still certify. All these things can be there, but we don't need to go in depth on the discussions there, right?
Correct, correct. Just
Yeah.
push. Okay, just represent it and move on.
Things
Okay.
can be there because the slide is called example, right? So this is an example. It may have that kind of level of detail, and we could be discussing any other flexibility around it.
Makes sense. I agree. I agree. So these are the primary 3 slides I had, and I took a lot of time. I apologize, but I think I need them to kind of come together as a story. I don't think that's done yet, and that's one of the things I'm kind of struggling with. So yeah, that's where I need to work a little bit more. This slide is not very important, so I'll put it in the backup. I need to remove it actually. And then I think there is a call to action slide needed, which is, hey, help us with this. This is by just this much is like a lot of work, and we need all the kind of like I think some of the people said in the previous conversations is that this has to be kind of coming together from different forums on different work streams and coming together. Like this needs to be done in the hardware fault tolerance work stream. Some of the other things need to be done in the power and performance work stream, and then all of that needs to come together in the CSM work stream. So I think it needs a lot of help, like investigation part, figuring out part where standardization is needed, where it exists, where we need to. So that is the kind of help. I mean, that's the call to action. Is let's come together as a work group and have a work stream for work streams, I guess.
Yeah, there's two part, right? I think what we were trying to expect by end of this month, right? If we want to get this draft ready, I think maybe also I forgot to mention one of the FTA sync meetings, what they were asking. If we are getting a white paper ready to be released before the global summit, they wanted I believe there is a 2 weeks review period for a white paper before the OCP, the IC team can approve.
I see.
And what they're saying is that OCP IC team is meeting starting of October. So
Okay.
that means you need to get the content ready by middle of September, so that you can get the 2 weeks review period. That is number one. Maybe I think Panos, I think we need to see whether the elementary white paper we can also, if we can get it.
Wait a minute. So what you have allocated no time for this group to review that white paper before you take it up to the IC.
I know, so I'm coming there, John, right? The second thing is, in order to get a white paper, right, there's I'm kind of forking off of this conversation and out of this also, right? The IMA one, what we were discussing, we also want to get that ready. We need to get that by another 2 weeks. So we need to get the content ready here. For this one, we may not able to get the paper released because a lot more discussion need to be done.
Right.
But regardless of that, right, we do need to get the content enough so that people can understand. As a CSM, we looked at all the different life cycle, and we are able to map it, and here are the gaps.
Yeah, no, I need to.
Right.
I need to work on it, and I need to get that content.
So we need to put enough energy here to make a forward progress, right? You know, like we started talking about it from last year. Now we are already in another 1 month, 1.5 months away.
Right.
It's good to kind of have some focused energy and spend the time, and maybe it's a forcing function, right? Let us see what we can get it done before you can meet next week. Let us see how much progress we can make.
So, but I think, let me confirm what you're saying, Sammy. The presentation is separate and the white paper is separate, right? we need to do both. I agree.
It's separate, but if you want to get white paper ready, if you want to announce that there is white paper ready to be released, right? You want to get that ready, or at least you want to get a draft form. So we may not say it's ready for release, but we are working on it, right?
Okay, we can get that.
But I think the expectation is let's get the content. So we want to feel comfortable with the content before we go to the global summit, right?
All right. Yeah.
So,
no, 2 weeks is enough for me to kind of get the at least a 5-page ready, and have that ready for you.
If needed some offline reviews, we want to get it done. Let's plan for it.
Will do. So I will schedule some time with some of the people who are interested. Let me know. Let me know if you're interested, and I will add you. I'm already scheduling some time with Panos, if you're okay, and George and Scott. So for the presentation itself, but I will cover the white paper in that time also, and start working on that. Yeah. And I really appreciate all the help. Thank you.
And sorry, John, you want to say little cut off. So go ahead. You're basically saying we are not ready for going to even white paper requesting, right? At least in this stage.
I'm saying you should allocate enough time for this group to review.
Right. So I think we need to get the content ready. Without having content, allocating time is not going to make progress, right? So yeah, Nirav, it's on your court right now. I think please move fast.
Absolutely. Yes, we'll move fast. We'll work out the work.
Any other comments on this presentation before we switch to the other topic? That also needs some time for us to go through.
I could add one comment. It might be a reiteration though, but Nirav, actually, when you presented, actually you did a great like a layout for the multiple components. And in addition to that, if you have any kind of a suggestion or proposal, what our group would work on, because as you know, you mapped some component to the existing standard group, but the next one you show the examples, right? So I think somehow if you summarize some area we may start working on in this group. I understand that, as you know, we wanted to get a feedback from the industry during the conference, but I think it would be better to have at least one kind of a proposal also.
That's a great idea. That's something I would need some help on. Changochai, is that something you will be able to help me create based on this?
Okay, well, let me check your slide again, and then I might add.
I will schedule some time with you, and we can discuss it, and maybe include Sammy as well in that. So maybe because from my perspective, I'm just collecting the data. I think Sammy and you might have more visibility into how we can kind of charter the next steps.
I think definitely Panos and Georgie would be very helpful to identify also, because they are really working on this one.
I see. So yeah, is that okay, Sammy, to have a brainstorm next week on like how do we take this and kind of create a
so to give some date when we want to schedule. Instead of we don't want to even wait for end of next week, right?
Oh yeah. So anytime is fine by me. So whichever time works. Yeah.
Do you want to meet sometime on Wednesday?
Wednesday works. Yeah.
And Tim here. Tough.
I'm very booked up next week, like all days. So I think only Monday would work, but it would be too early for you.
Monday is off today.
Yeah. Like Tuesday, it's a little better, but like let me try to do any comments offline, or still some time of something else for Wednesday if you convene there.
So let me suggest this one, Nirav. Can you start expanding the white paper and put where are the input needed? That way we can do all offline command. once it comes to a stage we feel comfortable, I think either we will bring it next week, Friday. If not, we want to meet offline with a small group. Let's figure out that.
So
we'll exchange emails and do that.
Maybe I misunderstood what you're saying. So Wednesday you want to meet on the paper or the white paper or the presentation?
I think looks like Wednesday people don't have time.
Okay.
Get the white paper written to your point. You feel there is where are the feedbacks needed, right? Put some AR for Panos or George or us to comment on it, right? Certain areas where you need input.
Okay.
Surveys will be having open discussion. Let us just start writing the white paper.
Okay.
Expand in it, right? You started it, let us expand on it. So,
but for the presentation, are you okay? Are you feel
no,
like
no, still we need work.
Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah, still need to work. So given we said we have a couple of more weeks to by September 15th, let's say I want to see that it's matured.
I see what you're saying. So let's prioritize the paper for the next week and then come back to the presentation the week after, is what you're saying. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, all right.
Okay, thank you. Let me switch over to the discussion. We don't have much time, but let's get that discussion started. Are you guys able to see the screen here?
No, none yet.
Okay. Now is it able to see?
It's on now.
The only thing is it's I need to figure out how to get the Zoom working here. So I also posted the link. I think not all of you will have access to the link. The people we were meeting before regularly have access to that. We will figure out a way to share with others. So what I have done is, given we are trying to transition from CSM to hardware fault management as a work stream underneath, what John's recommendation is, let us put this new work group. What are the things we want to accomplish, and what are the identify specific deliverables rather than open discussion point, right? One way of thinking is we can move this CSM as a sub work stream with this kind of similar charter as what we have. Another way of thinking is we can even split into multiple different work stream underneath. They have a specific chapter on getting that particular work done. Once they are done, then you can even close the work stream, right? So what I put is, you can say IMA is a one work stream. They're really kind of going in depth and working on that particular IMA portions and getting it fully defined and released. So basically, I said like, in addition to out of band, in band is still utilized, but out of band is standardized today. But in band, we don't have a standardized, and we have ecosystems available. But in band, it's more a proprietary mechanism that really needs definitions and creating ecosystems if you want to do it in band. And the output of it is specification, interfaces, security, or runtime, any updates and the samples, sample implementation here. And again, lead, let's collectively figure out who's going to lead that. I know George is an active one. So if George, first do we align with this, the creating work stream?
I don't think you should list out a band, right? This is in band, and that's how you should talk about.
All right. But I'm just giving out of band as an example, but not. I'm not saying out of band is a.
Well, your out of band. Your out of band is in the paragraph.
I think it's
solution
calling
uses
out
both
what
out of
exists.
band and in.
If it's used as a contradiction, I think it would be okay, wouldn't it?
I'm saying using both in band and out of band, give a context here, right?
Look, the hardware management project is going to try to give you a charter, right? Which is a scope of what you control.
Right.
They will not give you the charter to control out of band, so you should not talk about it. So you're going into hardware management project with a request for charter, right, to do work in a particular area. Right. That's what this needs to talk about, right? And the minute you put out of band in there, they'll read it as you want charter for out of band, and they're going to say no.
So you don't want to even use out of band where to say why inbound is needed?
Yeah, there's no, there won't be charter for it. Go ahead, panel.
I'm not, yeah.
Let me repeat my proposition here. I think we should clearly state the outbound of band as an example, as a contradiction, that we want our inbound charter to come in terms with or complement or something, but clearly say that our charter is in the inbound area, given that out of band is mature or is handled by whatever else. Like, will that fit your purpose, John?
Yeah, it would.
Okay, let's kind of reword that and review it back. I also posted the link, and if you guys can help on modifying that, it'll be helpful. Let me also take a look after the meeting and send a note. And regarding the deliverables, are we okay there? And lead, John, what is the process here? Once you go there, you can nominate from here, or you need to go through voting process to?
No, so I gave you the process, right? There's a process on how to do this, and you have the instructions on it. It has step by step on how you do this. So when you propose a work stream, you can propose a lead.
Okay.
And you generally, right, the project leads, the hardware project leads will say, oh, okay, fine. I'll let they have a better idea.
Okay. So on the lead side, George, are you willing to own and lead? Are you looking for others, or
Can somebody else join me too?
co-lead thing?
Yeah.
Any volunteers here? Okay, think about it. We can come back again. So other one I'm trying to propose here is a MLA framework for fleet management work stream. We have not spent enough time to really define it. We basically said like we are going to have a panel and have a open discussion there, but seems like based on the discussions even outside the work stream, people are feeling this is one of the areas that we should take on and solve the problem. So that's why I basically said like it's heavily utilized. It's a proprietary solution. We need to create a standard-based mechanism. And this work stream's job is to define that framework and models. Not just for you need to comprehend all this different components in the system, right?
So I suppose this document is still a draft, and we
Yeah.
should just like process it and come
Right.
back next week to for any suggestions or objections or comments there, right?
Yes. Yeah, take a look at it. And the other question I have, do we want to have even a generic CSM thing, right? Right now, this is more focused on specific deliverables. And if we want to have an open discussion on the things, even lifecycle management, we are having it here, right? Or maybe having a lifecycle management include these things as part of that work also.
Can you put that down as a question at the end of this document?
Okay.
If we are to have a CSM workstream as such as a continuation, this one, we will need to build a charter, define better goals, more specific than the ones we had, and deliverables and everything. So I would put that with a question mark there.
Okay. So So let us think about it. And again, I'm looking for feedback from this team. I think what we would like to see is by next week, let us firm this idea so that at least go back to the hardware fault management team on what we are really recommending out of our work stream there. And I think given the OCP Global Summit, we are going to announce a transition. Let us close the transition. We should not be waiting till last minute to close that. Let us close it before end of the month, right? Okay, anything else before we close, please? Sorry, we kind of ran over a little bit today.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for all the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah. Just to add one more thing before. So George and Anil, you guys met and created the presentation. Looks good. Again, I'm looking for others to review and give you any feedback there too. So,
okay. Sounds good. Look forward to the
good.
feedback. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.